to move this thing down too. All right, now I can start twisting the waist left and right. Oh, so smooth, so slick, so delicious. His little side skirts can also get up out of the way, like I think on the Titans Return when they did this as well, right?
I don't even remember.
Who was that? That's the voice coming out of my left arm. But he's got all this hip stuff going on. These move out to the side so you can have him do splits, and that's not ratcheted going out that way. Let's pull up even more. Just keep pulling. Keep pulling. Full-on splits. Perceptor kick. That's for the UK people. And then, oh, I almost reached in with my third arm. That would have been embarrassing. If you kick this forwards and backwards, there is a ratcheting joint, and you can kick about that far forwards. That's happy. And then kick that forwards again, lefty. And then bend that knee, and there's a ratcheted knee joint. You can get about 90 degrees, almost 88 degrees. Let's say 88 degrees. I think, well, yeah, 88 degrees. I think there's a thigh swivel as well, amidst all of this ringed sculpting. I'll just get my thumb in there and hold that one. Yeah, there we go. This is an awkward way to play with your toys. Down here on the foot, I think that I'm trying to do this with one hand, it's weird. There's an ankle tilt, and I think you can kick the foot forward and backwards a little bit too. Yeah, so this guy's got like the Titans Return articulation, but slightly enhanced, which means that he's not like hyper-posable, but he's got all the basic points of articulation, and they all seem to work. Yeah, asking my left arm for a second, what do you think is going on here?
It's good. It all goes where it should, and nothing feels loose. And I think they did a decent job. You can even probably open this panel on the rear if you want some extra. He just fell over. I'm sorry. Extra posability in the foot. You can open that rear panel. So.
Yeah, it's doing everything that I was hoping for. And I'm not expecting things like an ab crunch, so it's adequate articulation, I think. There's a voice in my head even farther to the left. You just shout a quick thought or two.
It's pretty.
Thank you, voice.
Very playful.
Oh, that's our articulation segment. I would recommend if you are going to film something at length, don't kneel in front of a table on a fairly hard surface, because then your knee starts to feel like you're old. So the next thing we're going to do is transformation. And let's see, how should I do this? I'm going to grab a chair over here. Because I'm starting to feel it, all this squatting and kneeling in front of the table. I am, of course, in prime physical condition. It's this stage we're on. It's like really hard. It's harder than what most people would be, doing squats on. So I'm just going to sit like this and run through the transformation for you. The way I usually do transformations is in montage. For this one, I'm going to just film it in about 3 or 4 segments. And what I'm going to do is when I put in my cuts, it's going to be based on what we call cutting on action. So I'll describe that very shortly. You guys, hi.
Hi.
I've made this panel about as awkward as possible. This is one of those goals of mine. When you guys do transformation, do you usually talk your way through it? Do you like to try to make it an instructional part of the video?
Yeah, I like to talk my way through it and also point out things that I may have missed when I first talked about it, when I, did a quick overview look at the figure to try and make sure that I didn't forget anything and get yelled at in the comment section.
Don't be afraid of the comments. Like, we make it sound like it's hell on earth. And sometimes it is. YouTube comments. But yeah, it is YouTube comments. And often, if you're just starting off, or if you're mostly like making videos that your friends are watching, for a first long while, a lot of your comments are just going to be your friends, your sometimes your family, your close contacts,
or your enemies.
Or your enemies if they've really decided to track you down to a YouTube page you're starting, in which case you should give them a pat on the back, I guess. A lot of comments tend to be really friendly at first, and there's almost this crossing point where they get a little bit harsher as more people who don't know you start watching your videos. So people to whom you are not a person that they talk to whom that you are a voice on the screen. And there is this slight dehumanizing thing where you'll read a comment and feel like, wow, that guy just friggin' insulted me. The person who wrote it is doing the same thing as writing a comment to a TV show they're watching, where it's not necessarily a person that they are communicating with from their end, from their perspective. I don't know. It's a hard thing I think a lot of people go through when they cross that level of viewership where suddenly the ratio gets to a point where even if it's a small ratio of bad comments, small still means like 10 to 20 versus 1 or 2.
So I've been doing this long enough. I just celebrated 11 years doing this. Thank you. I'm very lucky in that my fans and people who comment on my videos are self-policing to a point now. If things are getting really weird in the comments, I'll get pinged on Twitter, pinged on Facebook. Somebody will reach out to me saying, hey, go into the comments on this video and see what's going on. And a lot of times it'll be reference to a certain video reviewer who says swivel here a lot. And I just go, whatever. Sometimes it's really bad. I mean, really, like, we're talking Facebook troll bad. Sometimes it's Viagra pill sales.
I always get a little bit flattered by those ones. It's like, am I enough of a billboard? You want to sell Viagra? It's like, and if I go back and tell Kid Me, one day you're going to make a video that someone tries to spam Viagra sales through,
they're going to go, what's Viagra?
Unfortunately, I'd be like, oh, that stuff. And then I'd be like, man, I'm proud.
So I am fortunate in that respect that I've got a self-policing, sort of self-policing fandom. And some viewers, or some reviewers don't. They just don't. They are at a scale where, for example, like the people that have the millions of followers and subscribers, like PewDiePie, for example. Try reading his comments. Well, you can't anymore because he turned them off. He had to. They were actually getting to the point where things get really bad. And we're starting to see this backlash against the comments in general all across the board. Thankfully, most toy reviewers are at a scale where we're not getting the tsunami of horribleness. We're just getting the creep of horribleness every now and then.
We're getting the spritz of bile. We're getting the
sprinkler.
Yeah, the sprinkle of spicy comments. The tinkle of. I'm trying to alliterate a whole bunch. We should keep going. I'm going to transform this toy. So what I'm going to do is film this in like 3 or 4 segments. When I get to a cut, I'll describe what cut on action is, and I'll also just mention a few things while I'm transforming it to inform some thoughts you may want to have.
So, can you say something, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to Chris's original question that we tangented away from. One of the things that I like to do, depending on the figure, is, okay, if we're talking about a figure that's got 140 steps, then I'm going to want to start doing more of a step by step by step. And a lot of times I will start off with one node, go to the other, go back, go forward, go back, and then review. Because a lot of times these figures are so
complicated.
Thank you. I was trying to think of a literary term and wasn't coming up with one.
Shakespearean.
Sure.
There's a real Bacon-esque quality to this toy. Ah, what a Kafka-esque conversion. What a Douglas Adams of a face sculpt. I run out of authors. What a Terry Jones of an ankle tilt. What a Stephen King of a hand.
This is a kiss play.
What a Hugh Hefner of a kiss play. Oh, I can't make that joke anymore. Too soon. All right, here we go. So this guy transforms a lot like Titans Return Galvatron, FYI. But he's got no headmasters. This is already going to be interesting. To get this chest flap open, now that it's not spring-loaded, usually you just pull. But in this guy, you really got to turn the head around so you got space to get your finger in here. And sometimes I'm told the head will come off while you're doing this, even though it's not supposed to. See, it's on this little hinge thing here to go back and forth, and sometimes it pops out, and you just got to pop it back in. And then you just fold the head around and down into this chest cavity. So it's headless Galvatron. Is that too soon? Take the arm cannon here, and it's got the same peg, just flips to the back, and you can jam it in here. And now Galvatron looks even more pretty than he ever did before. It's all like,
gun face.
Stop looking at me! Wow! That was on purpose. One time, Twitter.com/BaltMatrix fired an Age of Extinction Prime head like a missile. Pretty legendary.
Really, it wasn't intentional. I swear, it never happened before.
Down here on these hands, they actually fold away. There's a little door that opens, you fold the hand in, boom, boom. I'll do this a bit faster on this one. I'm going to do some jump cuts through here when you're watching the real video. Boom, boom. Then you fold these arms up the way they do on your Titan's Return guy, as well as these treads coming down. A whole lot of this is probably real familiar to you. And then here, we're going to fold this tread down. Oh, but that's an action we can cut on! So, I'm zoomed in right now. I'm going to zoom out into a wider shot, change the angle slightly, get going, and then I'm going to do this again. Now, what's going to happen? Cutting on action is something that follows what we call the 60-40 rule. It's 60%, 40%, or 40%, 60%. It's math. And this motion here, basically, you do this in 2 different shots. And what you do is you cut between the 2 shots at this point in the motion or at this point in the motion. So either right as the motion starts or right as it ends. And then what that does is it masks the cut to the human eye. You as humans process motion in a certain way where if those cuts happen on accident with a certain smoothness, you don't even notice that the angle has cut so much as you're still watching the action happen. It's kind of a cool trick. It's maybe highly unnecessary in toy reviews, but it's really fun. So give it a try. Anyway.
Another technique that a lot of folks have been starting to use is the 60-40 rule, but doing things in reverse. So they'll film the removal of a weapon or the removal of a head, and then put that in reverse very quickly, and you have the gun going into the figure's hand, or the head going onto the figure very, very fast. So I've been seeing that a lot in several other more artistic reviews.
And by the way, you gotta also swivel the waist around on this guy. This is what the waist joint is for! And then this thing comes down, clamps down, this thing comes here. He's got the front of a Galvatron almost done. Then you take these 2 shoulder bits, they're very tight. Peel them out! And you've got like that open starfish face that is the front of Galvatron when he's a cannon. Now the legs are another place where some stuff happens. In these legs, you gotta fold these things open. You gotta point these feet in. It's all going great and Titan's Return-esque. But what's this stuff in here? These things are what you have in place of those jet cockpit parts. And what these do is confuse me for a second while I get all this set up. All right, here we go. This is the important bit. The way these knees work is that to have this knee joint work, it locks the knee, but you need to slide the knee in. It's not a slider, it is a double hinge. So there's a button here you have to push over to release the second knee joint, the hidden one. The thing is, the button is extremely angular and tight, and it kind of hurts. It's a little bit, it holds it in place really well, but like my thumb is on fire, and then you get this thing in here, tilt that around, and you're on the way. Now this button, you can also use something like this. This is going to make you, I was going to say flinch, but it's more wince.
As long as it's not a metal tool.
Let's say this was a screwdriver. I just reached in here and I'm going to start working at this button, trying to get it out of the way. Maybe I'll just use my fingers since this is not working. Oh wow, this is tight.
He has sensitive fingers.
This button is a butt. This button is a posterior. Oh, there we go.
So this is a perfect example of, I found on this figure last night, there's an actual easier way to do this.
Save it for the comments.
So basically get your teeth in there, just get your jaw right around that button, pull it down with your upper bite, and you'll be able to pull it. Have you seen guys use their teeth?
Yes.
Oh, that makes me wince.
Yeah, don't use your teeth in a video. Just don't use body parts that shouldn't be on the figure in a video.
There are
You won't
also
get monetized.
There are some little tabs in here that can, like really little purple tabs, and go into the inside of his thighs. They're kind of hard to line up because you have to click the thigh joint or the hip joint in all the way, and it's very difficult to do. And they don't really do much to help because this all tabs together anyway. But you can push those in. Then I guess you've got like double locked cannon butt all prepped and ready. Then you take this little tail here, this little Galvatron fishtail as it's biologically known, and connect that together. This is the thing that you've got in place of that jet canopy, and now you've got yourself a little stand, a little posterior for your Galvatron cannon.
A little stabilizer.
That's how that bit of transformation works. we're going to go straight to the Canon mode B-roll for a sec here, because we're also running low on time. Size comparison. Oh yeah, people like these size comparison things. Sometimes I feel like I'm an alien with this stuff.
Here's a Coke can.
Because it's like, you didn't show it next to a toy, and I'm like, I guess I need to. But if you show it next to like a ruler, if you show it next to a can of Coke, like a lot of people try to have the standardized size comparison, and then it always ends up being, you gotta show it next to, and then someone will say a toy that's just come out in the last year. So you just gotta try to keep your finger on the pulse, or just do what I do and use whatever figure is lying next to you. Like I've got comparisons going on right now that are all using Prime Ratchet because he's sitting on my table.
I love that.
So hopefully people have Prime Ratchet. But I'm gonna start shooting some of this Canon B-roll. Canon with 2 N's, not 1 N. There's no continuity to this review, unfortunately. And while I do that, I'll quickly show you. This is what this Canon mode looks like. Think about this shape. Think about the size. Think about the submarine mode that you can make out of it.
Upside down.
Submarine mode you can make out of it. And come up with some thoughts, because we do want to get you guys to drop some thoughts on this Canon mode while I shoot some B-roll. Do you guys know what this Canon mode at all?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about it for about 45 seconds while I get the B-roll going.
It's really nice. It's actually what I wanted Titan's Returns Galvatron's Canon mode to be. It's a fantastic rendition of the original G1 figure, and they really knocked it out of the park with coming up with this thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost a Hasbro designed figure in the fact that it's simplistic, like an 8-10-year-old kid could actually play with it. It makes a decent G1 Canon mode, and it's a decent G1 Galvatron. And I feel like some of the comparison shots that we got originally weren't fair to the figure because it would stand next to Sovereign, and Sovereign is a very, very beautiful Galvatron. It's also 3 or 4 times the cost.
Yeah, that's a comparison that I always find funny with large toys that are third party, but not necessarily masterpiece oriented, is when they start getting compared to things that are, in this case, a lot more expensive than them, or when you compare like a really expensive toy to like a mainline Hasbro toy, it's like, I think the really expensive one looks better, and it should. There would be a big problem if the really expensive toy didn't look better than the $15 one I can get at Walmart. That would be a huge knock. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on this Canon mode, I'll put it out in front here so you can get a better look at it. Once again, just like, think up a sentence about it if you want to get your voice in on this little video we're putting together. Think about the shape, think about the size, think about maybe the solidity of the silhouette, maybe the color of the cannon, the fact that you can move those little tread feet up and down, the fish tail, maybe the lack of a jet mode. Maybe you want a jet mode. And then after that, actually, while you're thinking of that, also if you have any other overall thoughts on the figure in general, just anything else you want to drop in on this figure, again, just 1 sentence or 2. Head on over to the microphone. If you want to just like drop a plug, if it's in the form of a comment on this figure, we'll allow it. For example, this figure sure looks great, and I would like to get it to put on my desk when I'm on my monitor looking at Evangelist.ca, a fine website hosted in Canada for fine Canadian content, originals of the web. What are you doing?
He doesn't roll, but
he has no wheels. You can't drive the cannon around. He's just got little treadles.
he kind of looks like a watercraft if you spread his legs.
The figure has rocket thrusters in his cannon butt.
Yeah, he's got that little like anal egg that the Titan's Return one has. That weird like orbular shape sticking out the back. I guess it's a little wasp stinger. All right, I guess.
Come on up to my folks.
If you gotta keep going. We are also very shortly running out of time. So
My Titan's Return figure never came out of the box, and probably because if it was a leader, it would have came right out of the box, and the Voyager kind of sat in there. So I really like getting this size figure for a third-party figure.
yeah, $50. It's fat. It's beefy. It's pH fat. It's cool. Go ahead.
That's the one that mostly collects in the chunk scale. I actually really appreciate having a high quality Galvatron, not just Galvatron. And while I like the Titan Return version, this thing is head and shoulders above. It really brings out potential in the mold.
If you're looking for the definitive last 6 generations Chug Galvatron, it's not the, it's close. It's close if you have problems with the head, the cannon, or the size of head returns. This one solves all of them.
I think it's a great representation of the figure in both forms. The alt mode, my big thing I'm happy to see is that it doesn't just do the splits. It actually holds itself up, and you're actually able to angle it a little bit, so that's always a nice touch.
I think the murdering evangelist's fingers feature in the transformation is excellent.
Yeah, if I was to grade something on how much it hurt, those buttons in the knees, I'd give them a definite like A-. It hurt. I didn't bleed. I had a little tear, but I was able to hide it, so it wasn't as cruel as it could be.
I think it looks very nice. Could you tell me what Gundam that is again?
That is, that's the Gundam Epion. It's from Gundam Wing. It's an anime. That's what they call cartoons in Japan.
No, it's a classic gun cannon from the 0079. Come on, dude.
Yeah, yes.
P-runners, right?
It's literally an upside down submarine.
Anyway, usually
No one's going anywhere.
Why are you holding a submarine?
It's 2017. Aren't you up with the fashion? And not submarines.
Do you see what I'm wearing?
I thought it was ironic.
There we go. Unofficial submarine mode. That's what everyone likes in the video reviews.
People are into that. It's not mine, so I can't drop it into a bucket of water.
Aww.
But
Not like Cyclops?
people are down with that too.
So when you do get one,
Yeah, eventually I might. I have like all the Galvatrons, you know. Like, I was looking at this, thinking about how much I don't want to get it, and then I was looking at it again once Joe lent it to me, and I was like, you know, this is the only Galvatron I don't have. And if you saw the Why Do We Collect panel, that is one of the collector types, the ones who feel like they have to finish all the sets. Usually for the end of a video, for the overall thoughts, I would also have the figure in some poses, you know, some goofy stuff. We're a little too low on time for me to transform it back into robot mode and do all of that. So I promise you that once I get this whole thing put together, I'll come up with some real dumb stuff. Like, I don't know, we can have him riding Coke cans. We can have him dancing, maybe doing a powerful squat.
At TFcon next year, no matter where it is, as long as it's in the US, we'll be able to see that video.
That's right.
Yes.
I'll bring it with me. I'm not going to upload it because, you know, I have to make it look nice. So we're about closing up for time here. I don't think we have any time. If anyone had any questions, like just come up and ask us stuff. Maybe if you see us, or ask us stuff on Twitter. If you have any questions about video making, we all can probably answer something. Coming up next, I believe we've got the IDW panel. Those are folks who make comic books. It's a medium that's been around for a while. It used to be made on pulp. And it's a visual medium, although they sometimes have those motion comic books. And I was wondering what happened with those. I see them every now and then, and I always think about the people who had to animate them, and then I wonder where they are. So I want to thank you two guys. Oh, yeah. Question?
no, I'm one of the people who animated.
Oh, what?
The Audio Nights Theater is doing a motion comic for Brian Shearer's William the Last, and I did the animation for it.
Yo! That is the best outcome to going on a tangent about something that's ever happened to me in my entire life. So I have nothing else to say. Thank you guys for joining me. You want to like drop any plugs or anything? That's something you do at panels, right?
Follow me on Twitter at Vault Matrix. Follow me on YouTube at Vault Matrix, and Facebook Vault Matrix Reviews. And yeah, just yell at me if you have any questions. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or just come up to me here.
I'm the one that's the most trouble because I'm different everywhere. I'm Diecast2 on Twitter. I'm on YouTube at RFC Reviews, and I'm on Facebook at Reviews by Diecast. So yeah, I like to be different everywhere, just to confuse people.
You gotta work on your branding, man.
If you look up like Evangelist, Evangelist Central, Evangelist.ca, that's all my stuff. If you want to see more of these two faces, stick around after the convention, because once the organizer Q&A is done, we've got the podcast roundtable Part 2, which will be a little bit longer, and there will be prizes. Is that an artificial way to try to get you all to show up for the panel because you might get something for free? Yes! So come on out, stick around. There's nothing else going on. We'll be post-convention. We'll talk about what we saw, what we did, things that happened at the show. We'll throw some prizes out. They're all very fine and high quality. Why are you laughing? Anyway. This is Evan of EvanTaylor.com.
Hi. Visit my website. Follow me on Twitter at Evan Damon. Anyway, thanks for the show, Evangelist. I don't want to force you guys off stage because you all appreciate what we do and we love your panel. But Mr. James Roberts is standing at the back of the room waiting patiently. Is there anyone joining? Ah, yes. I was going to say, is there anyone joining Mr. Roberts today? So this is the IDW Comics panel. I assume you people know that because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Evangelist, you should have reviewed James Roberts.
So as you can see, James Roberts is a UK import. Used to be a TF Nation exclusive, but we got another run done at TFcon.
We have to figure out the articulation.
Who wants to come up and be my left hand?
Do you guys want to chat for a bit or open up the Q&A?
Present to the room.